Hi, so I'm starting with the proteins part now. This segment is going to be majorly dependent upon amino acids only, because proteins that we have to study are firstly made up of amino acids. So first part I will cover the amino acid, then I will cover about polypeptide, and then we'll go into the protein parts, whichever the part is necessary. Now, so there are 20 naturally occurring amino acid you have to study. So I have arranged the amino acid in the alphabetical order. So they have their single letter codes. So arranging using that, alanine is there, cysteine, D for aspartic acid, E for glutamic acid. So D and E, aspartic acid and glutamic acid, they are acidic amino acids. There are just two acidic amino acids here, aspartic acid, glutamic acid. Simply you can remember D and E alphabetically. Then phenylalanine, F for phenylalanine, G for glycine. Glycine has a side chain H, like this is the amino acid structure. Here the R is hydrogen for glycine. So you understand this carbon will have HH, NH2COH. So this carbon will not be chiral in the case of glycine. So glycine is the only amino acid which is optically inactive. Going ahead, histidine is there, isoleucine is there, lysine, leucine, L for leucine. So another alphabet, K was chosen for lysine. M for methionine, N for asparagine. Here understand one thing, aspartic acid and asparagine are matching. In fact, three-letter code will also match, like aspartic acid will be ASP and asparagine will be ASN, asparagine, N. Similarly, glutamine will be GLN and glutamic acid will be GLU. So you can understand that they are related to each other. So basically, what is the relation? Aspartic acid structure, see the structures in the NCERT, open the NCERT simultaneously, it will be helping you a lot. So aspartic acid is the acid structure, COOH is there. That COOH becomes amide, it becomes asparagine. Glutamic acid have COOH group. When that COOH group becomes amide, it is called as glutamine. So, asparagine, glutamine, aspartic acid, glutamic acid have the similar structures, but only two acidic amino acids are there, aspartic acid and glutamic acid. P is proline. For proline, side chain is not separate. That means, for proline, this nitrogen is bonded to the side chain directly, making it a secondary amine here. It is a primary amine, N attached to one R group here. But in the proline, it's a secondary amine. So the only amino acid which is secondary amine is proline. Then we have arginine, serine, threonine, valine, tryptophan and tyrosine. Now out of this, which are basic amino acid? Basic amino acid, the trick is very simple, Hull. Hull is the basic amino acid. These are not single letter codes. These are the names. So H is histidine, A is arginine. Don't write aniline by mistake. Arginine, L for lysine. So arginine, lysine and histidine, Hull. Hull is the basic amino acid. Aspartic and glutamic acid are the acidic amino acid. What about the remaining? Remaining we call as neutral amino acids. Remaining all of them we call as neutral amino acids. Rest all. Okay, bhai sahab? Now, the structures people ask, students ask, sir, how to remember the structure? So, dekho, I will tell you which kind of questions they ask you. Dekho, if you are unlucky enough and they directly ask you, bhaiya, this structure is for which amino acid? For that case, the insurance can only be there if you read the table properly. I'm assuming that those students who are asking for some shortcuts for everything, these people will not be expecting to get full marks in such a tough paper. So, if the paper is asking you the question for functional group, then how to remember I can tell you. So, if the functional group is OH, that means this R contains a OH functional group, then bhaiya remember ST. ST are the two amino acid which has the OH functional group. Let us see the ST here. So, serine and threonine, they have the OH functional group. Chief Minister, CM, have the sulfur functional group. You can remember Saurabh, CM. Saurabh sir, CM. Sir bhi laga dena ya thoda sa little bit sir also you can put. So Saurabh, CM, SCM. Sulfur functional group is there in C and M. So where is C? Cysteine. Where is M? Methionine. Here. Okay, bhaiya? So the C and M, they have S functional group. SH is there, or R, C, R, this kind of thio group is there. Amide, already we have discussed, two acids are there, so amides are also two, asparagine and glutamine. Okay, bhai sahab? Carrying on. So this is what we call as amino acid. Now, if this H plus is deprotonated and it comes a negative here, and this NH2 gets the H plus because it is the basic group, it gets NH3 plus here. So this is the ammonium ion, this is the acetate ion, carboxylate ion we can say. So in the same structure, plus minus both is there. So this is neither cation nor anion, and this combination is called Zwitter ion. So it exists as Zwitter ion. The amino acid in the aqueous medium exists as Zwitter ion. Now, there is a pH called as pi. There is a pH known as pi, isoelectric point. Isoelectric point is the pH at which the positive and negative part is equal in the amino acid. Otherwise, what happens? Sometimes the positive is more, sometimes the negative is more. When plus and minus, that means NH3 plus and CO minus concentrations or amount, number are equal in the medium, that pH is called isoelectric point. So what happens at isoelectric point? Imagine if the plus is more and I put a negative plate here, I put a positive plate here. If the plus is more, the amino acid will be drifted towards the negative plate. If the minus is more, amino acid will be drifted towards the positive plate. But at isoelectric point, amino acid is neutral towards the external electric field. Whatever the electric field you put, amino acid will not be drifted to any direction if it is at the isoelectric point. Why? Because at the isoelectric point, plus and minus are equal. One more question comes. At isoelectric point, what can you tell about the solubility of amino acid? So here solubility of amino acid is minimum at the isoelectric point. Why? Because it is almost neutral there here. Plus minus are balancing each other. So almost neutral. Whereas if you have net positive charge or net negative charge, then bhaiya, due to the ionic nature, due to little bit of charge there, attraction towards water will be more. So solubility will be high. So above isoelectric point, below isoelectric point, solubility is more, but at isoelectric point, the solubility is minimum. Then amino acid, what will happen at a pH of more than pi and less than pi? So imagine pi, the trick is very simple. Treat pi as a neutral pH. For amino acid, treat isoelectric point as a neutral pH. Listen carefully. Treat isoelectric point as a neutral pH. Understand? So if the pH is more than pi, pi is like neutral pH. So if the pH is more than pi, that means basic medium. Consider it to be the basic medium for the amino acid. If pH is less than pi, consider it to be the acidic medium. This trick is very nice, awesome trick, very useful for the MBBS also. Understand? pH more than pi. pH is more than pi. Consider pi as a neutral pH. So pH more than pi means pH more than neutral. More than neutral means basic. pH less than neutral means acidic. Imagine if the basic medium is more. If the basic medium is more, so bhaiya, who will react? COOH or NH2 part? So sir, if the basic medium is there, acidic part will react. Deprotonation will be more. If deprotonation is more, negative charge will be more. Similarly, if the acidic pH is there, sir, if the acidic pH is there, then the base will react more. And because H plus are more, that's why what will happen? NH3 plus will come, positive charge will come in the amino acid. So if I ask you the question, ki bhaiya, if I put an acid, for example, I say, let us take the example of, I can take the example of glutamic acid and aspartic acid. Okay? So glutamic acid, aspartic acid, they have a pi value of around 3 and 3.2. Around 3 to 3.2 is the isoelectric point value. So if I say ki at pH 7, now imagine pH 7 for normal days is like, for normal, any other compound in the normal days, not in the biomolecule part, pH 7 is neutral. But for aspartic acid and glutamic acid, what happens? For aspartic and glutamic acid, pH 7 is more than their pi or less than their pi here. So sir, pH 7 is more than the pi value because the pi value is around 3. So pH more than pi means medium will be, sir, basic medium, sir. It is basic medium. Who will react, sir? Acidic part will react and COO minus part will come. Badhiya. If it is CO minus, then it will be going towards the positive end or the negative end of the electrode. So sir, negative part will be drifted towards the positive end, sir. So bhaiya, in the external field, towards which electrode will it go? It will go towards the positive electrode. Why? Because the pH 7 for D and E is more than pi. Chamka bhaiya, nice. Next trick I can tell you yaar. Next trick is that if I have hull are basic amino acids here. So understand, I am telling you the trick to remember the isoelectric points of all of them. So dekho yaar, if you have hull, that is histidine, arginine and lysine, then the isoelectric point is going to be somewhere around 7.6 to 10.8. So understand yaar, that means for hull, isoelectric point is 7.6 to 10.8. ठीक है. So for one of them 7.6, for other 9.8, for other 10.8. Exact you don't have to remember for whom what, but this trick will work. pH 7.6 to 10.8. That means more than 7 is the pI value. Exact you don't have to remember. More than 7 is the pI value. So what will happen at pH 7? Sir, very nice sir. At pH 7 is less than pI. For whom? For Hull. Why? Sir, for Hull the pI is more than 7.6, so 7 is less. So pH less than pI if I assume as neutral, so pH less than pI means what happens? Sir, at pH 7 this will behave as acidic medium. In acidic medium, bhaiya, who will react more? So sir, in the acidic medium, the NH2 part will react more. He will get a positive charge, NH3 plus will be formed, and it will be drifted towards the negative terminal of the external electrodes. Similarly, sir, what about the neutral yaar? So देखो यार, very nice trick is there. For neutral, the PI value is between 5.1 to 6.5. है? Sir, neutral will have a PI of less than 7? Yes. All the neutral amino acids have an isoelectric point of less than 7. So understand, 5.1 to 6.5, not very less also. 5.1 to 6.5 is the neutral amino acid isoelectric point. So at pH 7, what will happen? At pH 7, sir, at pH 7 will be less than their PI value. For anyone, lysine if I take, aniline if I take, not lysine, sorry, lysine is this one. If I take, for example, isoleucine, leucine, alanine, all those people, proline, for their isoelectric point is always 5.1 to 6.5. So their isoelectric point is 5.1 to 6.5. That means pH 7 will be more than the isoelectric point. So if the pH 7 is more than isoelectric point, the medium is basic. Medium is basic, then who will react? Sir, in the basic medium, acid will react. Acid react, H plus gone. Sir, H plus gone gets a negative charge. So sir, drifted towards the positive field. So this kind of question they can ask you. The last time this question came in JEE Main 2016-17. So bhaiya, understand, for DE, PI is 3 to 3.2. For Hull, PI is 7.6 to 10.8. For neutral, PI is 5.1 to 6.5. Also, one more thing they can ask you. Ki for the neutral amino acid, acidic and basic, they can ask you how to find PI. They can give you pKa values. So understand, for D and E, we take pKa1 plus pKa2 by 2. Now, what is pKa1, pKa2? The lowermost pKa. Lowermost pKa. They will give you 3 pKa values. Why 3? Because for this NH2 group, why 3 pKa values they will give? Understand, for this COOH, for this NH3 plus, and here also because of the chain COOH group is there, so his pKa will be given, this NH3 plus, this pKa will be given, and this pKa will be given. Out of which, if it is glutamic acid and aspartic acid, if it is glutamic and aspartic acid, then these two pKa is going to be pKa1 and pKa2. So how can you say? Simple, minimum 2 pKa, lowermost 2 pKa, average will be the isoelectric point. If they give you pKa value and ask you the isoelectric point. For basic amino acid means for Hull, isoelectric point will be pKa2 plus pKa3 by 2. Sir, what is the meaning of pKa2, pKa3? Simple. For pKa2, pKa3 means we can say higher 2 pKa. So they will give you 3 pKa. So the first 2 pKa you will check. First 2 pKa, the topmost 2 pKa for the case of Hull. Histidine, arginine, lysine, basic amino acid. For acidic amino acid, you will check the bottommost 2 pKa, lowermost 2 pKa. Then sir, what about neutral? Bhaiya, for neutral there are only 2 pKa. For neutral only 2 pKa are there. So pKa1 plus pKa2. Khatam, by 2. That means for acidic amino acid, I will take the bottommost 2 pKa value. For the basic amino acid, I will take the top 2 pKa values average. And for neutral amino acid, there is no confusion. There are only 2 pKa and their average you will take for isoelectric point. Going ahead. Next question what they ask you. For example, there is a polypeptide of 10 amino acid. There is a polypeptide of 10 amino acid. They can ask you, in this polypeptide, how many peptide bonds are there? Answer is 9. Number of peptide bonds are number of amino acid in the chain minus 1. Simple. So for tetrapeptide, 3 peptide bonds. For pentapeptide, 4 peptide bond. Simple trick. Next what question they ask you? Next they ask you कि I made a chain of amino acid, I make a polypeptide. and the polypeptide is having, let us say, 6 amino acid in the chain, and we have 4 amino acids. We have 4 amino acids by which we have to make the polypeptide. So from this 4 amino acid I have to make the polypeptide. Then the question arises ki how many types of polypeptide can be made. That means X amino acids are given, which makes a polypeptide of length Y. Length is Y. So here Y is equals to 6. How many amino acids given? 4 amino acids given, so X equal to 4. So total possibilities will be X to the power Y, that is 4 to the power 6. If you want to know why, simple here. For each position, how many contenders? 4 contenders can come here. 4 amino acids can come here. For example, we have A, L, G, Q. 4 amino acids are there. So A, L, G, Q can come here also. A, L, G, Q can come here also. A, L, G, Q here also, here also, here also, here also. So 4 into 4 into 4 into 4 into 4 into 4. 4 to the power 6 will be the total possibilities of getting the polypeptide. So in total 4 to the power 6 types of polypeptides are possible. Chamka bhaiya up to here. Next what they can ask you? Next what they can ask you is this thing, ki if they will give you, for example, ki there is a tripeptide, hai na? Tripeptide on partial hydrolysis. Tripeptide on partial hydrolysis gave you alanine, glycine plus glycine and asparagine. Alanine, glycine, one dipeptide came on partial hydrolysis. Complete hydrolysis, all the amino acids come. In partial hydrolysis, some chains come. So the tripeptide got partially hydrolyzed. Enormous numbers were there. So some made this thing, some made this thing. Find the tripeptide. Simple. Glycine is common. That means the tripeptide was alanine, glycine, asparagine. Alanine, glycine, asparagine. What does it mean? Simple, yeah. In some of the tripeptide, alanine, glycine remain together and the hydrolysis happened here. In some other tripeptide, glycine, asparagine remain together, aniline got secluded here by breaking this bond by hydrolysis. So combining them together, this is the tripeptide you can get. Simple na yaar. Similarly, if I give you a combination was there A, C to nahi, chalo theek hai, A, C, G, other combination was C, G, T. So what the whole amino acid will be? Simple yaar, the whole amino acid is going to be common thing you can take together, A, C, G, T. That is the total polypeptide change we can get. Another thing, how to name it? Simple. First thing, aryl. Second thing, aryl. Third thing, normal name. That means if you have a long chain, all of them are aryl. The last amino acid name as normal. So this is alanyl, glycyl, asparagine. Chamka bhaiya. Alanyl, glycyl, asparagine. As simple as that. Which kind of bondings are there between them? Peptide bond, we can say. There is an amide linkage known as peptide linkage that we can find here how many peptide bonds are there. So this was about the amino acid part, including the isoelectric point also. Now what are important, what are not important? Structures, functional group, they are important. This part is important, naming. Isoelectric point is not that much important for the NEET examination. Similarly, this question is also not much important for NEET exam. Number of peptide bonds they can ask you for simple one for tripeptide, polypeptide. So even if you don't remember the formula, you can draw and check. That is all for the protein amino acid part. Let us carry on. So now let us talk about the protein structures now. So देखो यार, amino acid, they polymerize to form polypeptide. Now polypeptide means many amino acids are together. So are all the polypeptides called as proteins? Nahi yaar. Proteins are polypeptides, but all the polypeptides are not proteins. So all the proteins are polypeptide. That means many amino acids came together with the peptide bond. But who are proteins then? Polypeptide having a biological function. Polypeptide, dekho, amino acid combined together to form polypeptide. Now that polypeptide may or may not be useful for our body. But if that polypeptide is useful for our body, is doing some biological function in our body, that polypeptide is called protein. Generally, the polypeptides are more than 100 amino acids long. If it is a protein, the protein contains more than 100 amino acid in the polypeptide chain. 2, 3, 4 dipeptide, tripeptide, tetrapeptide, pentapeptide, they are not proteins generally. The minimum value of the amino acid in your course forming a protein is insulin. Insulin is just made up of 51 amino acid and still it is behaving as a protein. So this is not a hard and fast rule that the mass of protein should be more than 1000 AMU molecular mass, or the number of amino acids should be more than 100. So it is not a hard and fast rule. Any polypeptide doing a biological function is known as protein. Going ahead, structure. तो देखो यार, when the amino acid come together like A, T, G, C, L, K, in this way, when the amino acids come together to form a polypeptide, that specific polypeptide is known as the primary structure of the protein. It is associated by the amide bond between A and T, between T and G, between G and C. They have the amide bond. So amide bond is there, and the polypeptide straight chain is known as primary structure of protein. Then what happens? The primary structure will contain obviously C double bond O group, because we have obviously COOH group is there in the amino acid, NH2 group is there in the amino acid, and when they come together, you get the structure of C double bond ON, something like this will come. So this C double bond O and this N having one hydrogen, they can form the hydrogen bonding with the next C double bond O NH due to the C double bond O and NH hydrogen bonding. So the primary structure rearranges to form secondary structure. There are two secondary structure, alpha helical and beta pleated sheet. So this is sheet like structure, beta pleated, or alpha helical structure is there. Both structures are possible and both are stabilized by hydrogen bonding. So bhaiya, secondary structures are of two type, alpha helical, beta pleated. Then what happens? Then this alpha helical structure becomes a gujbuj. Means what? Nothing here. This alpha helical structure was there. This rearranges to form randomly this kind of a thing. Not randomly we should say, but it rearranges to form this tertiary kind of a thing. So one gujbuj is made tertiary gujbuj. Again, I'll call it gujbuj because I like calling it gujbuj. So what happened? Secondary alpha helical structure, gujbuj, tertiary structure. Now how to make quaternary? One gujbuj, another gujbuj comes together to form quaternary structure. So in quaternary structure of protein, there is more than one tertiary subunit. More than one gujbuj is there. For example, hemoglobin you might have read, it contains 2 alpha, 2 beta. What is that alpha beta? Alpha is one gujbuj. Another alpha is the same type of another gujbuj. Beta is some other gujbuj. Another beta is the same type of another gujbuj. So 4 gujbuj come together, alpha, alpha, beta, beta, all of them containing Fe2 plus in the middle, and this combination is called hemoglobin. So hemoglobin is a total quaternary structure containing 4 tertiary moieties there. So understand this, primary structure is straight chain, then bhaiya alpha helical or beta pleated sheet due to hydrogen bonding, then gujbuj, tertiary structure, then 2 or more than 2 gujbuj come together forming the quaternary structure. Which are the force of attraction which stabilize secondary and tertiary structures are? Secondary is made firstly by hydrogen bonding. Apart from that, disulfide linkage is there, van der Waals force of attraction obviously is there, electrostatic force of attraction is also there. So these 4 attractions are there. From this a multiple choice question can be made. Apart from this, understand one very nice logical thing here. When you get an alpha helical structure, देखो alpha helical structure is very smart. When alpha helical structure becomes a gujbuj na, what they do, देखो यार, out of amino acid 20 that you have studied, 5 are acidic and basic, 2 are acidic, 3 are basic, so 5 are highly polar. So what they do very smartly, see the smartness of the protein and smartness of the nature here. There are 20 amino acids making the, like 20 different amino acids are there rearranging to form the protein here. So when the secondary structure is alpha helical and making the tertiary structure, very smartly what they do, you can see some part is hidden inside. This whole part is hidden inside, this whole part. Whereas this area is projected outwards. This area is projected outwards. This area is projected outwards. You can understand the surface area projected outwards is very less. This highlighted part is the projected outward area, which is projected to the outside world. The surface which the outside surrounding will be touching. So what they do very smartly, all the water soluble groups, all the basic and acidic group, all the highly polar group, they project outwards, and all the hydrophobic group they hide inside. For example, this was the whole amino acid chain. This part was the hydrophobic part. I have hidden this inside, and what did I project outside? Outside I just projected the hydrophilic part. So what will happen? The whole protein structure, the whole protein, it has hydrophobic part also, but hidden inside. It is the hydrophilic part projected outside. So the hydrophilic part, because of this outside part, the whole protein becomes soluble in water. Smart decision. And this is how you get the globular protein. When the alpha helical structure is exposed in such a way that only the hydrophilic groups are projecting outwards and all the hydrophobic groups are, or water heating groups are hidden inside, the protein like insulin and albumin, they become soluble in water, and these are known as globular proteins, globular proteins. Their shapes is also a little bit like globular, little bit spherical shape is there. Why? Because spherical shape will have the minimum surface area. Less surface area means what will happen? I have to project less hydrophilic group outward. Na yaar. If the surface area is more, I have to arrange more hydrophilic groups, and understand very less hydrophilic groups I have. I have only 5 acidic and basic groups. Now, what about the fibrous structure? Fibrous structure is like myosin, keratin. They are not keratin. In here we find it. They are not soluble in water. How they are made? Beta pleated. Now here in the alpha helical, you can see some groups are projecting outwards, some groups are hidden inside. But in the beta pleated, all the groups are projected outwards. It's like a sheet. So all the groups are projected outwards like this. Now what happens? Think about it here. Out of 20 amino acid, majority is water insoluble. 16 amino acids are mostly water insoluble. If everyone is projected outwards, we get a fibrous kind of a protein. And bhaiya, if every amino acid is projected outwards, so solubility in water is going to be negligible. Why? Because only 4 to 5 groups were there, 5, 6 chalo, let us say, groups were there who were who were water loving, who wanted to dissolve in water. Remaining all of them are water heating na yaar. So when you project everything outwards like beta pleated sheet, and then you get the tertiary structure, then that protein is called fibrous protein, not soluble in water. But when very smartly you project only the hydrophilic groups outside, hiding the hydrophobic inside, you get the globular protein. Going ahead. What is denaturation of protein? Because protein are very sensitive people, yeah. They get hurt very easily. Why? They little bit change in pH you do. Any chemical change, little bit change in pH you do, or physical change like temperature changes. pH change is called chemical change. Temperature change will be called as physical change. You do any physical and chemical change like change in pH or temperature, the hydrogen bonding get disturbed. And as soon as the hydrogen bonding get disturbed, what happens? Tertiary and secondary structure get disturbed. Primary remain intact. Why? Because primary had amide bond. It never was dependent upon the hydrogen bonding. So in the denaturation of protein, what happens? Due to change in pH and temperature, hydrogen bonding is lost, and later on regaining will also be there, but not in the same way. Then what happens? Tertiary, secondary structures are lost. Understand, polypeptide function, and the function depends upon the tertiary and quaternary structure. Why, sir? Why not secondary? Because the function depends upon which groups are projected outwards. The function will depend upon which amino acid are projected outwards. Understood, bhai sahab? So secondary and primary does not have much role in deciding the function of the protein, because function of protein depends upon the amino acid which are going to interact with the surroundings. Think in very elementary manner. In the atomic structure also you have learned that intervening electrons do not decide chemical reactivity, valence electron decide. Why? Because they interact with the surrounding. In the same way, the amino acid interacting with the surrounding decide the property of the protein. So as soon as your tertiary and secondary structures are lost, that means the overall structure deciding the function of the protein is lost. So here the function of the protein is also lost. So primary structure remain the same. Example, curdling of milk, boiling of egg. One very nice tricky question comes ki when you boil the egg, hai na? So when you are heating this egg, what will happen? Now the egg becomes solid in the inside. Initially it was liquid. Think about it. When you heat, solid become liquid, na? Generally, when you heat, solid become liquid. But in this case, if you take egg and don't boil it, it will be liquid inside. But when you boil it, the liquid becomes solid. How? Water got evaporated? Nahi yaar, it was a closed container. Water is there only. Then what happened? I will tell you what happened. Very nice logical answer is there. I am telling you the in-text question of NCERT right now. I am not showing off the skills that I know. I am just telling you what is the in-text question of NCERT. So understand, egg has liquid inside. When you heat it, what happens? Tertiary and quaternary structure opens up. Okay? All the hydrogen bondings are broken. Water is there. Then what happens? When it cools down again, or maybe it is not cooling down also, the water comes in contact with, when this opens up, the water comes in contact with almost all the amino acid, and water shows the hydrogen bonding with each and every amino acid now. So what happened? Water was there, protein was like this, soluble in water, but just interacting with the outside amino acid only. That means if I am the protein, only this part was interacting with water. But as soon as you heated me, I opened up. As soon as I opened up, all the water stuck to me with hydrogen bonding, and bhaiya after cooling, where the water went, water got involved in the hydrogen bonding with all the amino acid, and bhaiya now if I try to come back to the previous structure, it is not possible. Why? Because all my groups are involved in the hydrogen bonding with water. And where the water went, water started making hydrogen bonding with the amino acid. From where the amino acid came, they were there only but hidden. But as you heat it, tertiary structure opened up, water went inside the structure, made the hydrogen bonding, so water also vanish, function also vanish. So yeah, this was about the protein part. So देखो यार, one trick of the essential amino acid I have written on the board, but I did not tell you in that segment, so I can tell you now. Trick for essential amino acid is private Tim Hall, PVT Tim Hall. So there is a person, Tim, he has a private hall, so private Tim Hall. Now these are not the single letter codes, ठीक है? These are not single letter codes. What are these? These are the simple names, first letter of the names. Like private, PVT is phenylalanine, valine, threonine. Tim, tryptophan, isoleucine, methionine. One thing remember here, that tyrosine is not essential amino acid. Sir, why are you telling tyrosine separately? Because there are two T. And in the name one tyrosine also have T, but this T is not the essential amino acid. Going ahead here, Hall, histidine, arginine, leucine, lysine. Here also A for arginine, keep in mind, alanine is not the essential amino acid, arginine is. So private Tim Hall. So how many essential amino acids you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 essential amino acids we can see clearly here. Bhaiya, remaining are the non-essential amino acids not required regularly in the diet. Essential amino acids are required in the diet, not produced in the body naturally. So private Tim Hall. So bhaiya, this is about the vitamins part. Let us carry on.